is up? My name is Akasan.
What's up, Super Crew? It's DC-san.
And here we are, the end of the year. 2017 is almost over.
Yes, and can't wait.
Yes, for it to be over. And Infinity War next year.
And start afresh anew. Which one are you more excited to see? Black Panther or Infinity War? Because this is a question that I hear a lot among the fans and things here in Japan when it comes to those two.
Oh man,
those two movies. Which one are you more excited?
That's
to
a
see?
hard call. I would say Infinity War, obviously, because it's the culmination. You're gonna get everybody in that movie. Everybody's gonna be there, and it is still Wakanda oriented, and Black Panther will be in it anyways. So,
do you think he'll have another update to his suit or a carryover?
I think he is, actually. From what I've seen online as well, I think there is an Infinity War Black Panther suit. So we shall see what happens. But when it comes down to it, I've been ready for Infinity War since the end of
first Iron Man.
Yeah. So I've been ready for this movie before any other movie. So that's a whole nother deal. Black Panther is an event. Infinity War is an experience. So we'll put it that way.
Sounds like he's been quoted for the theater itself when they're doing 4DX.
Marvel, if you're listening, you can quote that right there. Just invite me to the premiere. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the top 5 movies of 2017 for us. What I will say though is that I personally don't think that this year was as good as last year. There were some gems, but the way I ranked it this time around was more or less how I left the theater feeling and the conversations I could have after it. That's one of the things I remember so much about last year was that my top movie last year was Civil War, because it's a debate I could continue to have a lot more, and I could enjoy talking about that movie over and over again, and not in a negative light like that. I like the fact that it was very divisive and it had two different arguments that could be made, and nobody was really right, nobody was really wrong. So and for a lot of you that watch the channel, that's probably you already probably know what my number 1 is going to be this year. So let's go ahead and get into number 5 real quick. And go. Oh shit, we got the same thing.
You put Bright?
I put Bright too.
Yeah.
Bright. Yep.
I liked it. I liked the movie.
I liked it too. I didn't see it. I think the critics were tripping on this one, or somebody was very intimidated.
Maybe the critics just didn't get paid their salary ahead of time before giving the
Maybe that's what
review.
it is. I don't know what it is, but they did not like what was like.
No.
And I can see on some fair accounts of how there were a lot of recycled script writing with Bright. There were, it was
doesn't have some
but this one was very much on the edge. And I was reading one of the comments from the Red Dreaded Nation members that said one of the problems with Bright is maybe that movie was too fucking real for the critics. It was like so on the nose about segregation, racism, and money and corruptness, that maybe that shit was way too on the nose.
Have you noticed that if something seems too fantastical or too real, it always gets the worst reviews?
Yeah.
Which is like, that makes too much sense. That's not good.
Yeah. It's funny because I think in some sense, if this movie wasn't so fantasy oriented, it might have been, I don't want to say Oscar baity, but it has that Oscar type of appeal of segregation, racism, and corruptiveness in the police departments. And so
I found that interesting, especially since the LAPD unfortunately gets a bad rap for being corrupt.
Well, Rampart,
in everything that it gets posted in when it comes to movies. It's they're not always bad, but they get that bad rap when it comes to social media and movies quite often. So having that happen in this is like, okay, they're doing something that feels somewhat familiar to like your buddy cop movies. Right? We got that established. And having your corrupt cops including the sergeant, is like, okay, we've seen this trope happen before, but how are they going to make a spin on it? The entire movie isn't based on them trying to run from those corrupt cops, and that part I liked about the movie. Magic being used and not being overdone
I thought it was great. I don't understand why that one got thrashed so bad, because to me...
Spoiler okay?
Nah, this one, because I think a lot of people haven't given this movie a chance, so...
No spoiler.
We're going to leave that alone in itself, but what I would say is, like, to me, this is no different than the way George R.R. Martin writes his Game of Thrones type of stories. There's a realistic tone with Game of Thrones, because there's magic in there, but it's not overdone.
No,
like
it's
that,
not. And it wasn't introduced for a long time, which is something I like, because I'm watching it, it's like, okay, so this isn't some over-the-top fantasy drama.
And I thought Bright was done very well. The same sort of idea was just like, oh yeah, you know, it's a dragon. It's a dragon flying over Los Angeles.
That was really cool, because it was so nonchalant.
Right.
It's all the way in the background.
We have dragons. Yeah, we have fairies.
Okay, now back to the cops.
I just thought I thought it was done very well, and I thought the makeup was done really well. And
the cast was interesting.
In some sense, I think it actually was. It's still better than Suicide Squad. I think it was shot better too, and I think the costume designs in the set, the light, and the settings were done very well. I mean, yes, there are some comparisons where the trolls look the orcs look very similar to Killer Croc, but I mean, and you know, there's a Harley-ish figure in there. Oh, totally. With the orcs, every once in a while, I always expected one of the orcs to come up and be like, beautiful. But yes, there are a lot of things. Training Day. What's the other movie with the Al Simmons is in it. Keith David is in it, and it's like it tells a story. It was it got a Oscar for a long time ago, and it tells the story of War Machine dude is in it as well.
Don Cheadle?
Yeah. And in the end, he ends up getting shot. He shoots the kid and buries him or some shit like that. The kid's trying to grab like an angel out of his body and shit. What's the fucking movie called?
I have no idea.
Oh my god. It's got a very simple name to it as well.
If you guys know what it is.
Backwash? No, or some shit like that. Don Cheadle plays a cop.
Traffic?
Yeah, maybe.
Crash.
Okay. There was a bit of Crash.
Those two movies came out the same year.
Right.
And there was controversy on which one was better than the other. Okay, yeah.
Crash
and Traffic.
So there were feelings of Crash in this movie. Bad Boys. There was even a little bit of Bad Boys in there.
Between the two.
The way they work to each other. Yeah. I thought it was cool, man. I mean, it wasn't that original, but at the same time, it was different enough for me to want a sequel. So
yeah, I actually, for me, I don't want a sequel
with Will Smith.
No, I don't want a sequel with the story being set in a movie verse. I want it as a Netflix series.
I would, you know what? I agree with that.
And the reason I want it as a Netflix series so they can flesh the story out and give us more characters, more character backgrounds, stuff like that. I think that would be interesting. I'm not against the movie, but a Netflix series would actually be pretty cool.
I'd say so too. The only thing that we might hurt from that is one, the budget, and two, I don't think David Ayer would want to do a TV show. So
well, that's okay. But you could have him do like the first and the last episode.
I don't even know
if he'd be interested. Yeah. I don't think he'd shy away from it if he gets the chance to work with people that he enjoyed working with before. Because some directors do be like, okay, look, you fit that in my schedule. I'll work with them because I enjoyed that team.
Second thing is, I don't know if I would want. I don't think I would want, or Will Smith would want to be doing a TV show either.
It doesn't have to be based off of those two.
Right. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying that it'd be interesting. I don't know.
I don't know if it'll have the same pull as having as a standalone movie, but it would be interesting to see that story or something similar to it would be kind of interesting.
Okay. Let's move on to number 4. Oh. Huh! Wow! Yours is a lot lower than I thought. I put War of the Planet of the Apes or the whatever.
Do you know why I don't have War of the Planet of the Apes on that list? Because I've yet to see it.
Oh, shit.
Because I missed it.
Wow.
Not on purpose. I actually wanted to see it and just miss it when it came out here.
Caesar is disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it, but it wrapped up pretty much as predictable as I thought it was going to be. I mean, there were
dream sequence.
Huh?
Dream sequence.
No.
Actors on Mars.
No. There was one twist in the movie, but overall, they just kind of played Caesar out the way we have seen this Batman Jesus-ish type character, and I thought it was okay. I thought number two
version of Neo.
Kind of, but I mean, it plays out the way exactly the way it would play out. So I just thought I don't know if they could have done anything more to it, but I think it was a fine chapter for the third movie and final act, and I was fine with it. I just felt like the one before it was a little stronger and was really blew me away. But it wasn't bad, it just was there. So that's why it's kind of far down on my list right now. Even the technology didn't seem like
Rises, as opposed to Dark
Knight. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same sort of telling. Like, it was everything they started in that movie was to sort of wrap up everything for the main character and finish it off and move on to something else. So I'm down for Matt Reeves doing Batman, but I just think for the trilogy, his strongest one was Dawn for the Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Was he in that movie?
No, for Batman.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm more for just unknown
character altogether.
Unknown, hot script. Just keep it like that. Give me the Hugh Jackman for the Hugh Jackman type of casting, Chris Hemsworth type of casting for Batman, and we're good with that. I think Matt Reeves will do a great job for Batman. Logan. Far down on your list here.
Well, one, because it's a top 5, not a top 10. I did enjoy the action sequences in it. I thought those were great. I liked X-23. She's always been one of my favorite characters, but I hopefully will see a slightly older version of her later on in the stories, just so they can do more with the character in general. But story was exciting, heavy, sad, depressing, and dark from start to finish, which I enjoyed. I walked out of the movie theater and I was like, wow, that was a good movie. It was a good standalone, but it was so heavy. It's like, I don't think I can watch this multiple times.
I agree with that.
But I can't shy away from the fact that it was a good movie.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
I would watch it again. As a matter of fact, the noir version, I want to watch because I want to find out what the main difference is. For whatever reason, when I think of it, I have Frank Miller's comic books image in my head where everything is in black and white until there's contact with blood.
Wow.
For whatever reason, I have that, and it's like, wow, that'd be kind of interesting.
That would actually be kind of cool if it was red like that. Yeah.
So even if it's not like that, that's the first image I had. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Okay.
That and Hugh Jackman's a good actor.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing his new movie about the circus, just because that man has got some lungs on him. He can sing. It's like, okay, that's not something I was looking forward to because I didn't really realize it was going to be a musical, but seeing it and seeing how it was done in the trailer, I know, a completely different movie. It was good.
All right, number 3. Let's go. Cool. Yeah, as I expected.
What'd you get?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, that's right. That was this year.
That was this year. Early on, actually. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Okay, I'll make mine quick. Like I said, this year wasn't really that impressive for me for movies or whatever, but I would say Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the main reason I rank it so high is because the cinematography was just so on par. And I'm such a big fan of James Gunn and the way he directs things and the way he uses colors to help illustrate a story and tell a story.
Yeah.
Every scene, there wasn't really a wasted scene in terms of just being beautiful. There's a lot of stuff
and using everything.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of stuff that's done on green screen. that it's just done and people will just be like, yeah, okay, nobody's gonna pay attention to the background. James Gunn, I believe, does pay attention to that background,
yes,
and he helps illustrate. He uses the background to help illustrate what's going on, and you can really tell that they were on different worlds every time. So,
I'll give you that, because watching that movie, it was fun. The soundtracks are always interesting and good. I like that music that's in it.
Yep.
When it comes to the color and the background of things and the CG, most movies leave it to where it's so obvious it takes you out of the realm of the movie. You know, if you can watch a movie, sit down and feel like you've been kind of sucked into that world, they've done their job.
You mean like your pick? Yeah.
Like I said, so they do it so well, you feel like you're in the movie, they've done their job. Then yes, like my pick.
Okay. So,
but I thought, for whatever reason, I was thinking that was the end of last year.
Yeah.
Galaxy 2. That's why it's not
okay.
But I did like it.
Yeah. And for the other thing I'll point out for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the fact that it just was by far the best looking movie I've seen this year.
So then
on IMAX 3D. There's other because
of other factors.
Yeah, because making a good-looking movie doesn't really also
make it
a good story. I still felt like Guardians of the Galaxy, the story was good, but it was also, it's not something that'll really last with me for a very long time. And it really wasn't aimed at the kind of movies that make me go crazy about. Like it wasn't that dark, and it wasn't supposed to be dark, but I can't disagree that it wasn't. It was a good movie. It just wasn't my type of movie to really rank it high. Like, oh, you have to see this. You have to see it type of deal. But for me, I thought it was visually it was the best IMAX 3D movie I have seen since Avatar. And for me, that's saying a lot.
That says a lot.
Yeah, because honestly, I forgot that I was wearing glasses with the IMAX 3D version. I'm like, this is really good. Everything looked really sharp. You know, compared to like even The Last Jedi, like I really was like, you know, I told you.
Yeah, because some theaters, depending on where you're sitting, at least on this side, you get dark spots.
Yeah.
And it's not so clear, so it makes things come off looking really bad.
Yeah. I saw it. I was just really surprised. I was just like, this is really sharp and really good. So, you know, and it does help that James Gunn retweeted that, and Dave Bautista actually replied to me about that. He was like, I agree with you, Akasan. I'm like, oh shit.
Well, Dave Bautista's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just want to use him more.
So Justice League.
Yes.
Kind of low. Lower than I thought. I'm
Lower
surprised.
than you thought.
Yeah.
I'll explain. Reason it's on my list because I enjoyed the movie. It was a good, fun movie. I wish they did not chop it up so much, but at the same time, I enjoyed seeing characters that I grew up with and reading about being on the screen at the same time. That's actually why it's ranked so high on my list, because it's one of those things where you don't know when and if it'll happen, but when it happens, it's like, wow, I'm so glad they've done that. Okay, now let's see what else they can do. And for me, for Justice League, whether you like the movie or not, I'm happy that the characters got a chance to be together, not just talked about in passing through side dialogue and things. And so now they can build from there and make it better. Make it better. I just want to see what else can happen from that, whether it's directly in that universe, branded something else, don't care.
It's so cute that you have so much positive aspects for the future as it is.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Wonder Woman said it perfectly at the beginning of the movie. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. Because you have movies that are out there for everybody. You know, if you like Marvel, you like Marvel movies for these reasons. You like DC movies, you like DC movies for these reasons. But you go in them enjoying them. You can have a horrible movie, cinematography can be great. You can have a great movie, cinematography can be bad. But either way, if you enjoyed it, cool, enjoy it, move on. So, make the next films from here better, stronger, better stories, and people will enjoy them even more.
So you believe that the DCEU will still continue after Justice League?
I think they should, yeah, definitely.
They should, or do you think they will, though?
I hope so. I hope so, because I don't think I'm like this. Okay, let's say, what's the worst Marvel movie that's been made, or didn't make as much money as
Inhumans.
Movie. TV show doesn't count.
Okay, well technically it was released as a movie though, the first two.
Inhumans,
yeah. In the States, they actually released it on IMAX, and it actually got thrashed by the critics.
Okay,
People
so
were like, holy shit, that's a first.
All right, we'll say Inhumans. Yikes. Here's the thing. You don't want to base your entire franchise off of one movie that just doesn't get every corner that you want it to. So what do? You retool it and fix it. Or you just fix it and move past by doing something
I understand that, but we're not talking about a side profile. We're talking about the Avengers of Warner Brothers, DC's franchise here, which was supposed to be the Justice League.
I'm teasing.
The culmination of what was supposed to be the culmination is like this was it. This was what everybody was expecting to be like the Justice League. Failed miserably. I
don't think it failed miserably. I do think that it didn't hit where they wanted it to, what they set out to do, and it didn't please all the fans. And I can agree with that. But that's another reason why I think they should move forward by sticking to their guns, giving us a good, solid story, and not cutting it at the last minute.
But you can also say though that there's an argument that if they haven't, out of how many movies have they had so far in the DCEU? Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, and now Justice League. 4, let's be gracious, 2 out of 5 of those movies didn't get struck down by the critics, didn't get torn apart. Well, actually, no. Yeah, Man of Steel, and Man of Steel was kind of passing, and Wonder Woman. Those were the only 2 that were kind of...
Okay.
Wonder Woman was the only critical hit for both critics and fans that everybody enjoyed.
But we also agree
there's
that
a track
critics aren't always good.
But
look at
regardless of that, the track record hasn't been so good for DCEU. If you're an investor or if you're a producer putting out movies, would you say it's the safe route to continue going on that failed track record to keep making movies for an audience that is a bit lackluster to invest time in these movies? I say that because I think the biggest reason Justice League didn't get the audience it was looking for is because nobody trusts the DCEU brand. From most people I talked to that, I like Justice League. It could have been better, but I liked it. I thought it was better than what I've seen previously. But from the people that haven't seen Justice League, the main reason when I ask them, why didn't you want to see this movie? They're just like, nah, after Suicide Squad, I kind of gave up on the DC movies. Or after BVS, I kind of gave up. Anything with Snyder's name on it, I'm going to wait and rent it like that. So I think there's already the history, there's a reputation that has already kind of destroyed any future movies coming out.
I don't think so. I think it's a matter of, okay, those people are not fans of Zack Snyder. All right, that's fine.
But they don't.
But that's something that you have in common. You either have fans of, or fans that are fans of the property but not of Zack Snyder. Okay, so to answer your question, what would you do? Why would you continue investing? Yes. So what do? You retool it by putting in fresh eyes, putting in fresh talent, taking away the things that didn't work before.
So the Wonder Woman verse.
Not necessarily the Wonder Woman verse, but I don't have any problem with Patty Jenkins directing any of it. So far, I like what she did with Wonder Woman. Seeing her do like a Flash movie will be great.
Okay.
I think that'd be awesome. If there weren't a director tied to Shazam, I'm cool with her directing that too. Anything that they give her, I'm okay with. But I don't expect her to do everything.
All right.
Have another director come in and do something else. Don't just have the same group do everything, because that does get old.
Right.
If you have the same people working on the same thing constantly,
I think that's where they faulted really badly with banking everything on Zack Snyder before anything actually came out was a big risk on their part, and there were warning signs from the beginning, even before Man of Steel came out, when Sucker Punch was released, people were just like, wait a second, this guy is going to be doing the DCEU or whatever. And then Man of Steel came out, and that had some problems as well.
I enjoyed it.
People enjoyed it, but there were already warning signs of like, maybe this may not be the guy we need to have head things.
But then it also comes down to where I have to admit, I don't think it's just him.
I don't think it's just him. Yeah.
The changing of the heads and the changing of decisions as the process goes on, and then it just makes everything.
I think for what it is, for what it's worth, Zack Snyder is an amazing visual director, but it kind of ends right there. I compare him a lot to, I believe his name is David Finch, the illustrator, the pinup. He does great pinup artwork, great pinup covers, but I think he's not really a very good storyteller. When they gave him the writing responsibilities to write and draw, both sides started lacking badly.
Right.
And I feel that's kind of where Snyder sort of falls into things. He has a core fan base, but it's not enough, and his storytelling is so split that it turns off a good amount of the audience that is going to make up the financial gains to fund his type of movies. So
have him do the action sequences.
But he would never do that.
And work with another
by
director.
himself. Not.
Well, I mean, put him. I'm like, if you create a good, strong creative team, and let them work together on something, that'd be great. Because you have brothers that work on films that do well, and they have two completely different views, but come up with masterpieces.
I agree, but I don't know if someone like Zack Snyder would share something like that. Like,
maybe not.
You know. And I think more or less it would cause even more problems we've seen with Justice League. The fact that you did have two different directors coming in. I think Zack Snyder's style in itself is so good, and when he follows a comic book page by page, it comes out beautifully. But when he goes off on his own and tries to put in his own little edge, I think that's what detracts a lot of fans. So. Ironic we're mentioning that, because that'll come up later in another debate about something.
I'm hoping we get the director's cut just to see some of the stuff that was cut from
what I heard, I think that's officially, it's a no-go. Yeah, for now. Maybe it'll be like Blade Runner and come out later. All right, number 2. Very interesting. Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars. Yeah, I'll go first. Logan, just from the beginning, the trailers, the stuff that was being released, everything, just the build up to that was just so good. And it was one of those things that was like, I know this movie is going to be great. I know this movie at least is going to be good. It's going to be sad. And basically everything that was advertised was given to you exactly as you thought it was going to be. There were some twists, there were some turns. Unfortunately, it came out 3 months later than I expected it to in Japan, but I still enjoyed it for what I saw, and I thought it worked out very well. So there you go. That's it for me.
That
Logan
was short.
Nah, that was it for me. Like, I thought Logan was really good, and like you said earlier, it could have. It's a good movie, but it's something that I generally do not want to watch a lot, and I can't get excited for watching. But it's still, that doesn't deny the fact that it was a really good movie, and it was very emotional, and it really, as I mentioned in my review, it just reminded me of, and I think a lot of people, is when you get to a particular age where you're guiding the future, but at the same time you're taking care of the past, and it's really hard to balance both and be what people expect you to be, and I thought that the Logan movie did a really good job with that.
I picked Star Wars, and 2 movies were tied because things we'll get into anyways. Star Wars because I enjoyed the movie. I'm happy that the franchise is still continuing. You know, it's one of those things where as a kid you grow up with it, pop culture, blah, blah, blah. I love X-Wings. I love Jedi. I mean, come on, it's Star Wars. There are issues with every movie, but I really liked it. I wish there were some characters.
Oh, so you really liked it?
I like the Star Wars movie. I have some issues with it, which we'll get into later, or do you want me to get into it now?
No, separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
but we're hope that some questions that were there since what, the 6th movie?
Yeah.
Will be answered by the 9th, so on and so forth. But I was happy to
Oh,
see
you mean
here.
the 7th movie? Force Awakens?
No, I specifically mean there's some questions from Return of the Jedi I hope get answered by the 9th movie.
Okay. Well, JJ did go on record and say that the 9th movie is going to connect all 3 trilogies.
Yeah, we hope. He also said it was pretty obvious who Rey's parents were in episode 7, but that wasn't obvious. So, anyways, either way, loved the movie. I was really, really happy to see Carrie Fisher on film, just because it's Carrie Fisher. She's amazing. Yeah, good movie.
Cool.
I'll keep it there.
There you go. Very different from what he was talking about.
Because there's some things that I have issues or questions about, and I don't want to get into it here.
All right, and finally, number 1. Oh. Okay. Well, this wasn't obvious. Yeah. We'll leave it at
Why
you.
not?
Go ahead. Leave it.
No.
No, you first. By all means. I want to hear Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I enjoyed Wonder Woman because it was the first time to see a strong female character in the comic book universe being at the forefront of a movie. That's the first thing. Second thing, Wonder Woman is one of my favorite characters, just based off of her history, how the character was initially created, and how the character was created in the comic books. Yes, I mean both. It was very interesting because they're very different. And just the action sequences were good. The origin story was interesting. It may not be the strongest origin story that's ever been told, but it was strong enough to be a good, solid movie, have good, solid acting. The directing was amazing. Patty Jenkins is cool. I can't wait to see what she comes up with next. And it just it was good timing. When they came out with the movie, I thought it was really good timing.
Did it come out before or after Harvey Weinstein stuff?
Oh, long before.
Before.
Long before. And I think that's going 2 movies back. I actually think that's another reason why the Justice League movie took such a big hit. Going back into that conversation with Ben Affleck, catching bad press for supporting or not supporting or going back and forth and things. People don't want to support someone they think is doing something
Josh Whedon,
wrong. Yeah. So that people are like, I don't want to pay money for that. I can understand that, it's your money. So I don't think that's a massive reason, but I do think that, they took a hit. Wonder Woman was great. I'm looking forward to seeing the second movie. And for Patty and Gal Gadot to say they will not film if someone in that group is involved. Yeah. Thought that was good on you for taking a stand. So let's see what you come up with. Yeah. And thank you so much.
I thought it was good. Wonder Woman could have been. The reason Wonder Woman was not on my list because ultimately I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was a great movie. I thought it was a bit overhyped.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it got little to no marketing compared to every other movie they put out.
Oh, it was marketed a lot. In the States, it was a lot. It was cool to see even rival companies supporting it. Even Deadpool came out with some artwork on it, and I thought it was good. I just was for something to be rated as high as The Dark Knight and even higher. I was expecting something to be like a damn complex script, and I didn't get that, and I left the theater kind of just like, okay, it was all right. Like you said, it was a basic origin story, and the way I looked at Wonder Woman was, if this was a Marvel Phase 1 movie, it would have been trashed. People would if this was a Marvel movie, at this point in time, people would have been like, what the hell, Marvel, you fell off, basically. So that's kind of the way I kind of looked at it. It was good, but it just wasn't that caliber where it would have made my top 5. So that's all. But I am actually very interested in watching that movie again. It must be out on Blu-ray now, right?
It is.
In Japan, right?
Sir.
Huh?
I own it.
You own it now?
Yeah. I have the English version and considering getting the Japanese version as well.
Yeah. So I can probably rent it now over the weekend. All right. Yeah. Number one for me, The Last Jedi.
There's a surprise,
yeah,
considering what we were just talking about.
Just because I love fucking movies that you can watch and people like, and I mentioned it already, Civil War was my top movie last year, but in some ways, if I compare the two of last year and this year, I still think The Last Jedi is better than Civil War.
Yeah.
Just because for a lot of factors, but just because it gets people riled up so much, and you can literally sit down and have long discussions about certain characters' turns or why some people thought it was unnatural for characters to turn, why others thought that it was perfect. And I'm on the side that The Last Jedi, right now, it may not be so, fans may not be liking it so much, but after some time and after episode 9 comes out, I think a lot more will. I have faith. I'm a believer that things will start to make a lot more sense, and you're gonna look back at The Last Jedi and be like, God damn, this was a really good movie, the way it connected so many things like that. But even on its own, by itself, I completely just like this running theme about how everybody failed in the movie. And I mean, yes, it had some problems. The casino canto bite thing was unbelievable.
Hold that.
Hold it. Okay. But I still felt like the way I look at movies is it's something that I can continue to talk about years from now and discuss little things and have little Easter eggs and have like it. To me, it's beautiful. That's amazing, and that's why The Last Jedi is my top movie this year, because even watching it a second time, knowing what's going to happen in the movie got me more emotional. And so it's rare for me to tear up in a movie, but watching The Force Awakens and then going immediately into The Last Jedi, that was some good stuff. The first time I watched it, I was like a lot of people, I was just like,
shocked.
What the fuck did I just watch? Oh my god, I didn't think Star Wars, the franchise, was over, but I was just like, I don't know if that was good or bad. But upon reflection and upon the paths that many people have taken, I'm like, you know what? Fuck, that is a really good movie, and I've come to terms. And I think one of the first stages of grief is denial, and I think that's what a lot of fans are going through. But upon reflecting upon it, I'm like, this is really goddamn good. And so I'll see. We'll get into more detail about that in my official spoiler review. But I couldn't have asked for. It came in late, really late in the game too, because this year, like I said, I was just like, yeah, these were good movies, but there weren't like great movies. For me, The Last Jedi was a great movie, and it was something that I could continue to talk about. And I'm sure for the next 2 years, I'll still be talking with my students about certain points of the movie and explaining things, and I think that's great.
And this is why they're tied for me.
What?
Last Jedi was good.
Okay.
The stuff I want to talk about. Can we get to the next video?
All right. So there you guys go. Red Nation, stand up, speak up. Tell me what you guys think about our list. How do you feel? I didn't do a contest this year because I knew it was going to be all over the place and a little bit harder for you guys to guess. And actually, to be honest, there weren't a lot of movies that I went out and saw at the movie theater this year. Surprise, surprise, Thor Ragnarok was not on there. Spider-Man Homecoming was not on there.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but I enjoyed those movies. That just really wasn't something that I would go back and be like, oh man, this was so great, it's got to be on my top 5 like that. And a lot of other movies just have, like we both mentioned, Get Out.
Haven't seen it yet.
Hasn't come out yet. All Eyes on Me hasn't come out yet.
Out until what, February?
Yeah, something
stupid.
It's not available.
It's not on the list.
There's a lot of movies that haven't come out here, so that's a whole nother
makes our list shorter.
Yeah, that and Netflix was actually doing really good this year, I thought. Punisher, I enjoyed it a lot.
Bright.
Yeah, Bright. Death Note was not, but at least they're taking risks, man. They're taking risks.
They are.
All right, guys. Let me know what you guys think below, and we're gonna move on to the Star Wars actual spoiler review. Peace, guys.
Peace. Force strong.